Welcome to Maui Electric Vehicle Alliance, or Maui EVA for short. I'm Ann Ku, the director of this Department of Energy funded project here at Maui College. For this 7th episode, I have a lot of interesting guests. First, we'll begin with music. A musician who decided to rent an EV for his trip to Hana, followed by Falk Motors and the EVs they have for sale, and finally ending with photovoltaic panels and how that relates to EV ownership. We'll be right back after this.
Have you been thinking about attending college, but believe you may not be eligible for financial aid?
Well, at first, kind of felt a little bit afraid, maybe because I won't be eligible, but I was pretty eligible. I got some good grant to help me through my first year.
To find out which types of financial aid you may be eligible for, call or stop by the financial aid office at Maui College today.
Welcome back to Maui EVA. I have a full-time musician here at the studio today to tell us about his decision to rent an EV in order to do his gigs. Katz. Katz, nice to have you here on Maui EVA TV.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Great. You're also actually a member of the Residents in Local Business Working Group in our Maui Electric Vehicle Alliance.
So, I am the consumer group.
Consumer group, that's right. And I always wondered why you wanted to join this group since you're a full-time musician. What does that have to do with EVs? Can you tell me something about that?
Well, I've always been interested in electric vehicles, and I mentioned this in my blog, growing up in Chicago with electric buses and trolleys.
And this is on your website?
Yes.
joekatzmaui.com.
That's it, yes.
Right. Okay. So you do have a blog post.
I did. I made a blog post about my trip to Hana.
Right, and your background growing up in Chicago with EVs.
Right. It all sort of tied together for me. But I've always been interested in electric vehicles, and it really appealed to me, and I really like the work you're doing for it and promoting it and really making progress.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, tell us about your decision to what did you do? Have you ever driven an EV before?
It was the first time.
First time. Okay. So this was back in, was it July or August?
It was August.
It was August. And you needed to go to Hana for a gig, is that right?
Yes, they had invited me to play at Travasa, the hotel, and it occurred to me that it would be a really great opportunity to try one of these out because the cost of rental for me was about equal to what it would cost me in gas.
In gas. And I just pulled up one of the pictures you took. Oops, sorry. Here you go. This is what, Hana Manu?
Hana Manu Bay, one of my favorite places on Maui.
Oh, okay. I'm not good at this. And where is Hana Manu Bay?
It's a little bit before Kenai, and it was one of my favorite surf spots back in the 80s. I would drive out there.
All right. And where did you rent your EV, and which kind of EV did you rent?
I got it at, was it?
Bio-Beetle.
Bio-Beetle, thank you.
They're the first ones on Maui to rent out EVs, yes.
And I got the
Volt?
The Volt. And I got that because I was concerned about being able to get a charge in Hana. At the time I made the commitment to do the rental, I didn't have word that I would have access to a charging station of any kind there.
Right. Well, there's no charging station right now, but they do have these outlets. Every building has an outlet.
Right. I just asked just whether I could park the car near an electrical outlet.
And they allowed you?
After I had made the commitment, they were very supportive of the whole thing, and the hotel was terrific about it. And I ended up being able to get a convenient charge there from a standard wall outlet.
A standard 110, 120 volt, any three-prong outlet,
right? It was right out near a light pole in their parking lot.
Excellent. And so you did it overnight? And the next morning, you had a full charge.
I had a full charge. It took about 12, 14 hours to do the full charge.
Ooh, but you were asleep. So it
Right.
didn't matter.
I got there about 5 in the afternoon, and it was plugged in, and I left at about 6 the next morning.
And where did you go after that with your Volt?
I blasted back to do a show in Paia, and then another show that night at the Kealani. So I really wanted to be sure I could get back.
Because you had no time to charge, to stop and charge it.
That's right. And I think I bring it up because I think that's a lot of the concerns that the general public has. How am I going to get back? You know, where am I going to get power? And so, you know, to me, that was a big obstacle and a concern about looking into getting an electric vehicle.
Yeah, you don't want to be stranded without
Exactly.
any power. Yeah. So with the Volt, luckily there's gasoline. And so you did 3 gigs in a 24-hour period?
That's right.
And then, so from, I guess, Wailuku or Kahului, you picked up the car, you went all the way to Hana, charged overnight, came back, performed in Paia, and then drove all the way down to Wailea.
Well, it's a complicated life I lead, isn't it? No, I actually returned it after Paia.
Oh,
So
okay.
the car made it pretty far, and it switched over to gas when I was maybe 10 miles outside of Hana. And I should say it was really seamless. I was really impressed with the car.
Oh,
I mean, it was quite, I mean, you would not have known that it switched over. And then going back, if you know Maui, it switched back to gas around Holokai Road on the way back. And I filled up in Paia, preparing to return the car, and it took about 1 gallon of gas.
1 gallon of gas and what you spent on renting the car. So was that a good deal?
Yes, and it was a wonderful experience.
Excellent. You wrote a blog about that, and it's on your website, also on the mauieva.org homepage, all the firsthand experiences. And also, I just want to say that you have kindly offered your music from your upcoming CD for use on our Maui EVA TV show.
I have.
And I would love to hear some of that. This is the CD cover, I believe.
Right. It's Hawaiian steel guitar, Hawaiian to jazz.
And this is all original music?
No. I have about 3 original songs.
3 original songs.
Sort of Hawaiian jazzy versions of some classic songs, both Hawaiian and jazz standards.
And this is on which instrument?
This is a Hawaiian lap steel guitar. And this is the one I used for most of the recording. It was made in 1950. And it's called a steel guitar because of the metal bar that I used to play on the strings.
And are you going to be offering this course at the college?
Yes, it will be offered in the spring of
for the first time.
2013. For the first time. Could be the first accredited course in Hawaiian steel guitar anywhere.
In the world?
In the world, and here we are.
Okay.
At Maui College.
Well, we're very fortunate to have you on the show to play this for us. Tell us what you're going to be playing.
I'm going to play Beyond the Reef, one of my favorite songs from the CD.
All right.
It's a Hawaiian classic.
Excellent. And then you'll also be playing another one. You're going to play two for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Why not?
As much as you like. I love playing this.
Excellent. Well, Joe Katz, website, joekatzmaui.com.
That's it.
You can find out more and hear samples of your CD. Also a member of our Maui Electric Vehicle Alliance. And go for it.
Thank you for having me.
Discover your future through learning. With a Bachelor's of Applied Science degree, you'll be prepared for a career in the field of sustainable science management, engineering and technology, or applied business and information technology. Create sustainable communities. Engineer the next generation of technology. Develop the business expertise to succeed in a dynamic economic environment. Apply now at the University of Hawaii Maui College.
Welcome back to Maui EVA. Today I have Wilson Tabon from Falk Motors here in Kahului, Maui, to tell us about the Nissan Leaf. Wilson, nice to have you here.
Good to be here. Thanks.
Now this is quite unusual. We're actually inside a brand new Nissan Leaf, which is for sale, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, we're inside the Nissan Leaf. How old is this Leaf? Literally.
This one here is maybe a few weeks old.
A few weeks old.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you to tell me, what do we do? I mean, I don't see all I see is this little button here. And where's the ignition? Is there an ignition?
It's actually a push start button. So all we have to do is we have the smart key that has to be in the car. You just step on the brake and you push the start button and we should be ready to go in a few seconds.
You don't even put a key in there?
No. The smart key sends a signal to the ignition letting it know that we're ready.
Oh. And look at this. What does this say? This is the
navigation warning, just letting you know that, not to.
So it's a GPS
system basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So and this?
This is how you shift the car into gears. Here's a little diagram of how the operation of it. It's like a little joystick motion, and it pops back into the original position, and a little light will pop on, letting you know what gear. There's also a little indication light here letting you know what gear you're in also.
So this is all computer stuff, isn't it?
It's pretty high tech, for today.
For today. Right, well, we're not going to drive for now. I'm just going to ask you some questions about Nissan Leaf, because for a while on Maui, none of these were available. You had to order online. Until when? It was about...
Just maybe 4 or 5 months ago, we started receiving regular stock.
Like about May or June?
Around there.
May or June, you started receiving unpre-ordered stock from Nissan.
Yes.
So finally, for the first time, they were available here on Maui for people to look at, touch, smell, drive.
Yeah, we had our demo for a while.
You had a demo?
Yeah, for a while, for the also people who want to order them online. So we've had that for a while, but for actual come in, test drive, you like it and buy it, it's only been around
just a few months. So are there people actually coming just to ask for a test drive?
Yes, there's a lot of people who are very curious with the electric car and how it feels, and a lot of people are very surprised by how well it performs for an electric car.
Excellent. And how many different colors do you have of the Nissan Leaf?
We have all the colors available. They're all available online. They're all the general colors: the white, the black, blue, red.
Red. Yes. So about 4 or 5 colors.
Yeah.
5 colors. So what are some of the most commonly asked questions people have?
General, how far it can go.
How far it can go.
How long does it take to to charge?
To charge.
Charging is one of probably the biggest concerns. Yeah.
And there are 2 models for the.
Yep, there's 2 models: an SV model and an SL.
So SV, that's the what? The cheaper one?
The less expensive one.
The less expensive one, but that doesn't come with the DC fast charger connector, the Tabon one. And if they were to buy an SV, the earlier model, can I say that, the earlier model?
They came out at the same time.
They came out, okay. Can they upgrade and get that?
No, they wouldn't be.
Oh, they wouldn't be. Oh dear, so do they have to trade it in? Trade it in to get the SL model, which comes with the Tabon. This is important because we have the first DC fast charger on Maui at the county building. So you won't be able to use it unless you have that connector. Yeah. What are some other questions people have?
Preferably about the tax credits, Yeah.
That's
a
the
pretty big
federal
thing.
tax credit,
Yeah.
which it's a tax credit, which means not everybody can use it. Yeah, if you don't pay that much tax to begin with, you won't be able to use it. And it's too bad that we don't have the state rebate anymore.
Yeah.
The $4,500 state
It's a
rebate.
really big-
Do you also tell your clients about the charging stations on the island? 'Cause- yeah.
We have our own also.
You have your own,
There's that other Better Place Hawaii.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, promote that also.
and you allow them to use yours.
Yes.
Your clients to use yours. Can you tell us your hours of opening?
Monday to Friday, our sales department is open 8:30 to 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday and Sunday we're open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
And Sunday too.
Sunday also.
Saturday.
So 7 days a week, anybody's available, come test drive.
So can I come and test drive with no intention of buying? I mean, I would feel guilty, but how would you feel?
No, it's I like when people come in and try to, teach them more about, a lot of people not too familiar with the technology nowadays, especially these electric cars, and just to send it out there and get the information out there to the people would be great, because it's great for island,
Well, this one in particular, this is absolutely zero emission. Yeah. So there's no gasoline. There's not a drop of gasoline in this car. Am I right?
Yeah.
It's completely electric.
Completely electric, 100% zero emissions.
Right. And how far does it go on one charge?
On one charge, you can get up to 100 miles, just depending on how you drive.
So if it's totally flat and you don't use the air conditioning,
You get up to 100.
100 miles, okay. But if you use the air conditioning and you're going uphill and you start and stop, what do you think?
I would think in the 70s, honestly.
70s, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I experienced range anxiety when
Yeah.
I was going, I wasn't sure
There is-
how
there
to
is-
drive it, yeah.
There is a range indicator here, but it does vary, constantly changes by the way you're driving.
Uh-huh. So you could become a better driver.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
actually a
follow that.
little indicator that helps you teach you to drive, because it's different from a normal car.
Different from
Yeah,
normal.
you have to learn when to brake, when to accelerate.
It looks pretty easy. It looks
is.
easier than a normal car. I mean, if I
It's
just have to
pretty
press a
simple.
button, and what if I left my key inside the car?
It won't let you lock it. There's little on the SL models.
Uh-huh.
These are smart keys.
Yeah.
There's buttons on the doors which you can lock your door from.
Uh-huh.
And then if you accidentally leave the key in the car,
Yeah.
it'll send some type of alert system, like a little beeping,
Uh-huh.
that won't lock the door.
It won't lock the door
Yeah, it
because the
won't.
key's inside the car.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, initially, you could purchase it outright, but you couldn't lease it. Is that right? Or you could always lease it?
It was open to both, because it was an online order system.
Uh-huh.
People who put down lease
Uh-huh.
can always turn around and purchase it.
Okay.
So both were offered.
Uh-huh.
I know it was first originally designed for lease only, but during the process they gave you the options of
Uh-huh.
purchasing or leasing.
So tell me about the leasing option. I mean, what's the minimum period I need to lease it for?
I believe the special, what they have on now, is a 39-month period.
That's what, 3 years?
3 years,
Just
3
over
months,
3 years.
yeah.
Okay. And at the end, do I get to buy it for
Yes.
for how much? The remaining balance? Or
There's a set amount that they predetermine what the car is going to be worth
uh-huh.
at the end of the lease.
Okay.
So there's that amount that you have 3 years to think about if you want to purchase it,
Okay.
or start planning ahead to trade it in for something.
Well, during those 3 years, if I don't like the color, can I trade it in for a different color? Or it doesn't work like that?
It depending on the value of the vehicle at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, depending how soon or how much charge is left on your term of your lease.
Uh-huh.
It just all depends on the value at the time of the car, basically. It's possible. It's just
And do I get the $7,500 federal credit if I were to lease it?
yes.
I do.
Actually, when you do lease it, it acts as a rebate,
Is that
and so it actually takes it off the top of the cost.
okay?
So
And it reduces it.
yeah.
And what about this EV license plate?
EV license, this EV license plate that you will get as an EV owner it's pretty good, because you get these special parking areas in public places
Uh-huh.
where they'll have ports for you to charge at, and it's usually pretty good parking if you think of it.
Right.
It's like right in front of the store.
Yeah.
And at most places, I see them at other places around town, basically.
That's good. Well, you know what would be really nice is when somebody goes and decides to buy this car, that they can immediately sign up for, say, Better Place Better Place Networks. Because I heard that it takes about a week, to get their fobs. Yeah. Then they could use on any of the, for free, at least for 2012, charging on any of their charging stations. But of course, there's also AeroVironment charging spots, and that's different. That operates on a different system. Right. Well, are there any other questions that your clients or potential clients usually have about Nissan Leafs?
A lot of them are pretty concerned about the battery itself, and that is backed by one of the best warranties. It's an 8-year warranty.
8-year warranty.
Yeah, so that they have that peace of mind in mind when they have the vehicle.
Is that 8-year or 100,000 miles, or just 8-year period?
Or 100,000. Usually on a Y, it's usually the years first because we don't drive too far.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So during those 8 years or during the 100,000 miles, if something happens, you will replace it? Is that what it is? Or?
It's a prorated warranty.
Okay.
So depending the time, whatever's damaged,
But you do have a Nissan certified technician.
Oh yes. We're one of the few in Hawaii. But,
And I understand you also sell to the Big Island.
Yes, we do.
Because they don't have a certified Nissan Leaf dealership. Okay. Well, this has been wonderful, Wilson. I think I learned a lot more about Nissan Leafs, and if people have any questions, can they call you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go.
Me. I have my direct number is at 808-385-1085, or they can reach me at the store at 808-270-2600.
Thank you, Wilson.
Thank you.
That was Wilson Tabon from Falk Motors in Maui, and my name is Ann Ku, and we'll be right back with Chevy Volt. What's inside that?
Hi, I'm Wendy Osher, News Director for Pacific Radio Group.
And I'm Ann Jenny, Economics Teacher here at the University of Hawaii's Maui College.
The votes are being tallied and ballots are being cast for the 2012 general election.
This year, UHMC and Pacific Radio Group are teaming up again to provide live election results coverage for the 2012 general election.
We'll be here on election night from 5:30 p.m. until the final results are in.
Tune in for conversations with key candidates and breaking reports on election results as they become available. We will be focusing on races of importance to Maui County.
Also tune in as the next generation of Maui residents find power in their voice through voter education and engaging questions concerning Maui's future.
That's Tuesday, November 6th on MCTV Channel 55
and KNUI AM 900.
You're watching MCTV, Cable 55.
Now we are in a different car, the Chevy Volt. I have here with me Tim Torres from Falk Motors. Tim, welcome to Maui EVA.
Thank you.
You are probably the expert on Chevy Volts here on the island. Can I safely say that?
Yes, I am.
Right. Back at our first UHMC Auto Fest, this was the car, the silver Chevy Volt, the demo that you brought to our campus. And in the back seat of the car, well, today in the back seat we have Wilson Tabon, who earlier told us about the Nissan Leaf. I was sitting right back there and being interviewed for Maui no Kaoi magazine, the Maui EVA and Smart Grid article, which came out in August 2011. Tell us about the Chevy Volt, or is it called the GM Volt?
No, it's a Chevy Volt.
Chevy Volt, Chevrolet Volt.
Yes.
Okay, VOLT. So this is not 100% electric.
It is actually 100% electric.
It is?
It does have a generator
Uh-huh.
which produces electricity for extended range.
For extended range. But there's also gasoline. There's a gasoline tank in this car.
Yes, for the generator.
So is there a gasoline transmission?
It's basically, if it's just for extended range. If you are driving,
Yeah.
Certain miles,
Uh-huh.
you don't need to use the engine will not run. The generator engine will not run.
Will not run.
If you just keep plugging it in.
Okay. So what I understood, because I borrowed a Volt for a few days, was that if I run out of electricity, I think electricity is good enough for how many miles?
I would say depends on how you drive, it's basically the rain, the heat.
Say the maximum.
It would be like somewhere on about 45.
45 miles.
45, 50,
45,
between them.
50, okay.
40 to 50.
Okay.
To be safe.
If I were to run out of electricity, then the gasoline will kick in
Yes.
to power the electric motor.
Yes, it just produces electricity.
It produces electricity. So
Yes.
okay. So it's very different from your
Hybrid. It's
your
not.
hybrid.
It's not a hybrid.
Your internal combustion engine.
Yes, ma'am.
It's very, very different. So tell us more about how this operates, Chevy Volt. I noticed. Do you have ignition? You don't have a key, do you?
No, you do have a key. It's
do have a
like a
key.
transponder.
Uh-huh.
It's like similar to your Bluetooth.
Your Bluetooth?
Fix it up, to open the doors,
Okay.
to start it. You don't need the key. As
There's
long
no
as it's
key.
within range. Within range.
Okay.
Yes. There is still a key in case you.
Oh, there's a key. Where do you plug that in?
No, to open
Oh,
the
to
door.
open the
in
door.
case the
in
batteries.
case.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Is there something similar to
Yes.
this for the Nissan Leaf? You also
They
have a
do.
key.
The key is actually built into the key fob itself also.
Okay, in
Yeah.
case the electricity doesn't work, there's no battery.
The
you
battery
still-
dies out.
The battery
Yes.
dies out. Okay, and then I see you have a little button for power.
Yes.
Shall we do that? You press
You
on
want to start?
the power.
Yeah, you have to step on the brakes first
You have to always step on the brake.
to start it.
Okay.
Yeah. Then
Press.
it's running right.
I love this beginning bit. It's like being in a spaceship.
Yes.
And then
You're. It's good
it's
to go.
on. It's
Yes,
good
it
to go.
is.
So you could go.
You can just go
reverse
drive or
and-
reverse. Yes.
Okay.
Then you have your electronic brakes.
Electric.
Electric.
Electric. Do
Yeah.
you need to always use that?
I just like a handbrake.
Like a handbrake?
Yeah. It's on right now, then shut off. As long as you step on the brakes,
Oh.
shutting off is just.
You press the button and it
Yeah.
shuts off. It's
Yes.
so simple. Now, sorry, I'm going to compare the Chevy Volt with the Nissan Leaf because I was just in the Nissan Leaf with Wilson.
Yes.
Unlike the Leaf, in the beginning, could people pre-order online, or how did it work?
No, we did not. The Volt did not have that.
No pre-order online.
No pre-order.
Okay. So how can people try a Volt or buy a Volt on Maui?
Just come to the dealership and they can test drive one. It's that simple. And that's how we actually sold out right now.
You're sold out?
Yes.
Okay.
We are sold out. People just, I guess because of the programs that we do have right now with the Chevy Volt.
Well, sold out, that means nobody can buy a Volt right now. Is that what you mean?
Right now, yes. I'm not sure if we can sell the demo, but it's...
This is the only Volt
this-
available on the
Yes,
island?
we sold the last one yesterday. I sold it yesterday.
You sold it yesterday?
Yes.
So, is there a wait list? What if I want a Volt?
I think we can order, but it's just the timing things. Because the allocation, we just got them in recently, maybe about a month or two ago, and we sold every one of them.
What's your allocation? Do you get one every month, or?
No, depends on the manufacturer how many they can give us. Because they've been selling a lot, so not that much.
So you're going to bring this to National Plug-in Day, I hope.
Yes.
And also
As
the
long as
county
it's not
fair
sold.
and all.
I mean, this is one of the last ones that I'm not too sure if we'll be selling it or using it as a demo.
This is a demo. Okay.
Yeah, but basically a demo.
Okay. All right. And what are some of the questions people ask?
Is it a hybrid?
And is it?
Everybody thinks it's a hybrid. It's not. That's why you get your 7,500. What do you call the tax? Yes.
So you do get the federal tax credit, $7,500 if you buy a Volt. Can you lease it?
Yes, leasing. You
can also lease.
You can.
What?
A lot of
3
people,
years or?
You can choose between 24 months, 36 or 39. I mean,
Well, since I have both of you in the car, maybe let me ask customers, if they want an EV, is it a matter of, oh, do I want the Volt or the Leaf? Because right now these are the only ones available.
Yes.
Or do you have very specific people that only come for the Volt, only come for the Leaf?
Basically, like with, also can answer that when we took our Nissan training, is that we have to talk to the people, find out how they are driving it, how they will be using it, and we try to recommend which one is better for them.
It all varies depending how far they drive, where they live alive, what they'll be using it for.
Is it such a big difference?
Range difference, yes. If for upcountry
Hana.
people, the Hana people, maybe the Volt because you need that extended range, just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah. While the Leaf is more for city, short runs, daily driving, nothing too far.
Everybody we've sold in Hana basically bought.
So people in Hana actually have bought Volts?
Yes. We've had a few.
Excellent. Well, what about up in Kula or upcountry?
It's mixed. Upcountry is a little mixed.
In the west side? Yeah. But I wanted to talk about price, but of course price is going to change over time. But on average, there's a markup between the Volt and the
It's
Leaf,
about,
right?
I would say about 5,000 maybe difference.
Or more?
Yes.
So the Volt is more expensive.
Slightly.
Slightly.
Yes.
Yeah. But then you don't run out of miles.
Yes. So if you're doing long range driving, like from west side to all the way up country, we wouldn't recommend Leaf unless you have a charging station when you get to the west side.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll have more charging stations on the island.
They are actually putting up a lot more, and I mean, right now it's free. Even our place, and I think the fast charge, the third generation, they are planning with our new building, the Chevy building. We'll be building a new building, and I think that's one of the plans.
Because right now we can't do a fast charge on Volts.
No, they don't have the charging plug-in. But like the Leaf, they do have it on the SLs, not on the SVs.
On the SVs, okay. Well, thank you very much, Tim and Wilson. And that's good news that we could go to Jim Falk Motors and try this silver Volt. You'll have, and we don't have to buy it. We can go and just learn from Tim, who is probably the most knowledgeable on Maui when it comes to Chevy Volt. After this, we'll come back and talk about PVs because there's a very close connection between photovoltaic and electric vehicles.
You're watching MCTV, Cable 55.
Hi, I'm Wendy Osher, News Director for Pacific Radio Group.
And I'm Ann Jenny, Economics Teacher here at the University of Hawaii's Maui College.
The votes are being tallied and ballots are being cast for the 2012 general election.
This year, UHMC and Pacific Radio Group are teaming up again to provide live election results coverage for the 2012 general election.
We'll be here on election night from 5:30 p.m. until the final results are in.
Tune in for conversations with key candidates and breaking reports on election results as they become available. We will be focusing on races of importance to Maui County.
Also tune in as the next generation of Maui residents find power in their voice through voter education and engaging questions concerning Maui's future.
That's Tuesday, November 6th on MCTV Channel 55.
And KNUI AM 900.
Welcome back to Maui EVA. Very closely linked to the ownership of electric vehicles is that of having the sun to power it. Photovoltaic, or PV for short, is one of those things that Maui is famous for. We have lots of sun, but the question is, will it be enough to power my electric vehicle? Am I in the right place? Is my house located in the right place? What else do I need to know? Do I have enough, do I use enough electricity to qualify for one of these PV installations? I have here today two experts on PVs. Stuart Zinner, who is Maui College Energy Coordinator and who has also taught PV and a whole bunch of other energy courses. Stuart, welcome to Maui EVA.
Thank you.
And the other guest I have here is Brad Albert from Rising Sun Solar. Brad, welcome to Maui EVA.
Aloha Friday.
Aloha Friday. Now, I have loads and loads of questions. Can I just be selfish? If I want to buy an EV, I'm thinking it's going to cost me more electricity. But if I were to have PV on my roof, then potentially that will pay for it. What are the concerns? What are the questions I should be asking? Where do I go to ask such questions?
Well, the first thing you might think about is what is the cost of an electrically powered car versus the cost of a gasoline-powered car?
Okay, suppose I figure that out. I just want to know, can I feel good about charging my EV with the sun?
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to show you my electric bill. This was my previous electric bill. I was sharing it with another person, and this is what it looks like. Is that enough?
Is that enough? You mean for solar?
Yeah, for solar.
Well, that's actually, we can actually see what your bill is, even though people at home might not be able to see from the screen the details of your bill. And you actually have a pretty low electrical usage for your home. In fact, if you were to buy an electric vehicle, it might use twice as much as what your house is using, depending on how many miles a day you drive.
Oh.
So what you're using there is only around 10 kilowatt hours a day, and that's quite small compared to what most homeowners on Maui use, which is typically between 15 and 20 kilowatt hours a day. Some people use substantially more than that.
And how much would, say, a Nissan Leaf use if I were to charge it every night?
Well, it really depends on how, if you charge it every night, meaning that you used its full range every day.
So 70 to 90 miles a day.
Yeah, so a battery pack in the Nissan Leaf is 24 kilowatt hours a day. You're only using 10 kilowatt hours a day for your whole house. So your Nissan Leaf would use about 2.5 times as much as your house is using at this point. But nonetheless, if you compare that to the cost of a gasoline car, it still comes out quite low.
It still comes out quite low. Yeah. Well, I have to admit that actually that was when I was sharing with someone else, but actually right now I use even less. I think I use about maximum 6 kilowatt hours a day.
Yeah. Being a solar contractor, I think the lowest I saw was about 10.
10. So I don't qualify.
Well, no, you do qualify. You can offset any amount of electricity usage with solar, very large electricity usage, or a very small one. But a lot of the fixed costs in installing a system don't change depending on, the size of your system.
So you might as well. So you probably want to install the bigger.
Well, basically,
loads.
Your cost per watt to install solar would be relatively high, but not if you bought an EV car and bought a solar system to power your EV car and take care of your house load. It would almost help you essentially to make solar more affordable for your home.
I see what you mean.
Because a permit costs a certain amount of money, just doing the electrical tie-in is a certain amount of money, and then you can attach a larger system to it. So some of the fixed costs in solar are fixed,
spread
and then
over a larger load.
Yeah. And then you pay more as you add panels, to make your system larger.
Okay, I get it.
So in your case, buying an electric car, you could take care of your electric vehicle needs and your small bill, and that would make solar seem more attractive to you.
That makes sense.
But even if you didn't have an electric car, even no matter how small a system, even 10 kilowatt hours a day could still benefit from solar as well. So there's no real minimum size.
But what about this? I hear that, this whole 15% saturation. First, I have to find out whether I'm on a street where it's not overloaded with solar panels, right?
I think there's a lot of misinformation, or at least confusion, or both. And basically, I would assume, like Stuart said, we did some back of a napkin math, and we think that, what was the number we came up with? Using MECO, forget about solar, you're already saving money with an electric vehicle. Meaning MECO rates are high, but if you
still less than gasoline.
Still less than gasoline.
So maybe it would be 50 to 60% of, depending on how fuel efficient your car was and all that, you could save maybe 50 to 60%.
Switching to electric.
Yeah, switching to electric at MECO rates.
At MECO rates.
Actually, I think we said you'd save 40%.
Save 40%, your cost would be 50 to 60% of what your gasoline
and this is not
would be.
even PV rates, time of use rates. It's just normal rates.
So I think what you would say is it's smart to get an electric vehicle, and I believe in electric powered vehicles, so I want to get one. And now that I know I'm getting one, then I would basically go to a qualified solar company, pick a good solar company or pick a few.
Let me put your website here, Rising Sun Solar. You're a member and one of our cost-share partners of Maui Electric Vehicle Alliance. I know you all are so busy.
But the point anyway is that you would want to work with a good solar company, and my guess is that if you bought an electric vehicle in the next 2 years, you'll be able to connect to the grid probably even longer. In other words, this 15% limit is actually only one of the first screens that determines whether or not you can get a solar system on your house. But in fact, there is no limit. It's just a question of cost, meaning that there's different screens. If you fail the 15% screen, there's a supplemental review screen which looks at a different number. If you fail that, currently the customer pays to have a study done which would determine if you can interconnect, and those study costs vary. And then sometimes you have to pay for additional equipment. But I've yet to have someone who's paid for a study not be allowed to come on.
And so everybody technically can put PVs on their roof.
Cost.
But really the cost becomes prohibitive. So in where the rubber meets the road, I think there is a limit, which is this if you get kicked into a study or told that you need to do a study to come on, then that usually a lot of people just say, I don't want to pay for that. We're trying to change those things, but what we're trying to change initially is that the limits that are set, the screens, are very conservative. And in the utilities defense, we have much more electrical or much more PV on the grid and other variable renewables than pretty much any other place in the country except for potentially the Big Island.
So they have geothermal.
Well, and with a lot of solar and wind and other types of, including geothermal. But geothermal is less of a problem in terms of it's very stable. So, but without getting into a long discussion, some of the better contractors don't look at you and say, oh, you're in an area of high saturation, I don't want to bother with you because that's a difficult sale. They're going to say, I'm going to work with this customer, we'll get you on. And the rules, in my experience, the limits have always been increased. And I know for a fact we're not at the, in almost every area of the Maui grid currently, I think that you will be able to get on in the next few years if you made that decision. Eventually, we could hit the I guess
real limit.
the real limit.
Real limit.
Or
Yeah,
the,
I mean,
the
this
limit
whole,
that
the
you,
whole
you
reason,
would have to spend a lot of money.
a lot of money. The whole reason for this limit is for reliability's sake, isn't that right? I mean,
Yeah.
because solar is intermittent, only when the sun shines, right? You can't have everything dependent on solar.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that right? I mean,
I think it's sort of like a question of, you know, like the speed limit, right? Your car can go faster than 55 miles an hour, but is it safe if you go much faster? Well, most people probably drive faster than the speed limit all the time. And so, but at some point, it does become, you know,
that's a good
unsafe.
analogy, yeah.
And instead of unsafe, it would be like it would cause some issues that could create, you know, problems on the grid. But I think we're more at like 35 miles an hour, and you can go 65.
Okay, I can understand.
In other
that.
words, I
Okay,
think we
makes
can
sense.
double the amount of solar on the grid today without reaching, you know, very many problems. And currently, just so you know, we're about 10% of Maui is powered, or is Maui's generation is distributed solar systems.
10%.
10%.
Is that quite high compared to the rest of the country?
Higher than anywhere else.
Anywhere else, Maui,
By
10%.
a long shot.
MECO has the highest per capita distributed generation of any place in the United States.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you're saying we could go even higher.
With the
That's what
exception
you're saying.
of Lanai.
With the, with the exception.
Which is part of Maui County anyway.
And Lanai has even higher?
Yeah, it's probably 40%.
40% solar?
But that's
that
primarily
one big farm.
large farm and a very small grid.
Oh, that's amazing. So,
which really Maui, in relation to Oahu or any other, you know, place on the mainland, is a very small grid.
So we should all be getting EVs and charging them on sun power.
No argument here.
Yeah.
That is one huge reason for getting EVs. Well, you know, if I were new to Maui, right, and I had to choose a place to live, I would want to know, where can I live where I can put PV on my house without any questions asked, you know, where there's no saturation at all. So what we're going to do is put this website, put the link on our MauiEVA.org page so people can go there and see.
I think that would, you can do that, but I think that's really adding to the confusion, because the map makes it look like everything is at a limit when that's not the case.
Right, if I'm not on the map, then that means I'm okay. If my street is not on the list.
I would ignore the map, and I
Ignore
would
the map.
just, you know, buy an electric car and contact a solar company to, like, see if, you know, first of all, what's it going to cost, and then, like, the payback on solar is really a good one. So, and you don't even need to pay with your own money up front. You could finance it through another company that would own the system on your roof and essentially sell you the power at a lower cost.
Is this the Sunrun deal?
Sunrun's one of the companies.
Okay.
That's a company that we partner with. That's one of the largest in the country that offers this, but there's a number of offers similar. And
so anybody can, because it used to be you have to own a home, you have to
you don't
have
have
the
to have
money
equity
up
in your
front.
home in order to qualify. You have to have a good credit score.
Okay.
And that would be with most of these deals. You can also pay for it and benefit from tax credits. But essentially, if you were to purchase a solar system from Sunrun at a reduced price from what you would normally have to pay, your rate on, you would be paying, you would save 85% off of a gas-powered car. In other words, you would drop from saving 40% if you were purchasing the power from MECO, you could go down as low as 15%, or somewhere in between, depending on how many sun hours you have and what direction your roof's facing.
But this all has to be on grid.
This is all on grid, but you could purchase I mean, Sunrun only sells on grid systems.
Okay.
The majority of people in Maui and the world live on grid, and the people that live off grid would already probably have a solar system and would just be adding to their existing solar system.
This is a fantastic proposition. So Stuart, you were about to say something.
Yeah, that these days the cost of batteries is a bit high, so that it's likely that anybody who purchases an electric vehicle is going to power it with an on-grid system. Down the road, that might change, and the cost of batteries might come down, and then it might be very possible to have an off-grid system that's also powering your EV.
So the future is bright.
In any case,
as far as your location goes, unless you're in a forested area in Olinda where there's absolutely no, you know, you look up and you can't see the sun, then, you know, you're probably in a good area for solar. And as far as like oh, I live in Kula, it's not as sunny or something like this. It's sunny everywhere in Maui, and you get less sun hours, so the money you're saving would be a little bit less than someone that lives in Kahului, but it would still be a lot cheaper than purchasing power from the utility company.
How many days of sunshine do we have?
It depends on the particular location, but if you consider that half of the solar in the world is in Germany, which has a solar resource that's comparable to Anchorage, Alaska, then you know that it's very possible to make solar economically viable. And to power a car, again, even at MECO rates, it works well. And if you can fix the cost of your fuel, essentially, by buying a solar system that's not accelerating every year, then you come out way ahead.
That's like what we talked about in the 5th episode. Get your tax credits before you retire. Put a PV system in. Get your EV, get your tax credit before you retire. And then you spend less than $18 a month flat on all your electricity and your EV power needs, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, what solar provides you is not only savings, but a stable electricity rate.
Stable electricity, wonderful. So we've got a real proposition coming from Brad Albert of Rising Sun Solar and our UHMC Energy Coordinator, Stuart Zinner. Thank you very much. And I think we'll have to have another episode. We'll need to talk to MECO about their rates.
Yeah, definitely.
To understand it better.
One big takeaway is don't take any sort of hearsay that you can't get on the grid. I would apply.
Okay.
And before, truly the only way to know is to put in an application.
And that's free.
Yes.
To apply. Thank you very much, Brad. Thank you. And when we come back, we'll listen to a little bit more of music before we wrap up. Thank you. I'd like to thank all my guests for today's Maui EVA TV, beginning with Joel Katz, full-time musician, who also teaches at Maui College ukulele